First up, Zimmerman. I have sourced this brand in thrift stores. I've sourced it in consignment stores, also online. You will hear a running theme through this video. I source all the ways that I can. Online, thrift stores, consignment shops. Love selling this brand's dresses. I would say out of most of the brands on this list, this might be one of the ones I find the most at thrift stores. This one and Alice and Olivia. Caveat with Alice and Olivia, let us rewind back to Zimmerman. Love selling their dresses. Check the sell-through rate. If you remember nothing else that I say from this video, check the sell-through rate on all of these things that you are thinking of picking up, okay? Sell-through rate, I check it on eBay. What I do, let's say for example, I have a Zimmerman pink dress, if I know the style name, Zimmerman Nikki pink dress. Put that in eBay. I look at how many are listed within the last 90 days, and then I toggle over on your little, I use my app, I put sold, and I see how many have sold within 90 days. That's how I do it. It's very simple, and that will tell you the sell-through rate. So if you have 100 listed and 100 sold in 90 days, that's 100% sell-through rate. That means that more than likely your listing should sell within 90 days, okay? If there's 100 listed and 50 sold, that's a 50% sell-through rate. I try to shoot for a very high sell-through rate, especially on these brands, okay? Because I'm usually paying up for these brands. Not all the time, but sometime. That's sell-through rate, because every time I do these brand videos, I get a couple of questions about that. We could do a whole video on it if you want. Number 2, Alice and Olivia. This is a brand I do not pick up unless I check the sell-through rate. I have picked up Alice and Olivia like workwear stuff, and I still have it for like the last 3-4 years. I check to make sure it's a newer style. I try to stay away from their career wear. This brand does a ton of stuff. They do purses, they do career wear, they do gowns, they do dresses. So I particularly like selling their dresses or their like blogger favorite pieces. Sometimes I even do well selling their blazers, but a lot of their career stuff that I could sell like 6-7 years ago, it doesn't move. Like the plain black blazers, the plain black pants, can't do it. But the trendier pieces, the dresses, love it. Yes, if you're new here, I actually do make a list, because I like this to be as informative as possible, and I also like to include brands that I personally have sold, and I like to tell you where I've sourced them. So we get a little nerdy, but we have an actual list. Marc Jacobs. Listen, I'm not picking up the Marc Jacobs at TJ Maxx and Marshalls to resell. That's not what I'm looking for. I'm looking for the pieces. I will put the tags somewhere on the screen. Is it say made in Italy? It's the higher end stuff that's like the runway, the made in Italy. I think that's the tag. I'll put it on the screen. Love it. I find it at the thrift store actually quite a bit here in Los Angeles. It's usually older pieces, and the sell-through rate is not super high. So this stuff can take like a year or 2 to sell, but when it sells, I just sold an old Marc Jacobs cashmere piece. I think I found out that it was like 15 years old. It was in like moderate condition. I picked it up for $8 at Goodwill, sold it for $60. I love stuff like that all day, every day. Love it. And Marc Jacobs, the higher end stuff can be very expensive, you guys, like into the thousands. So it's worth looking up, and it's worth knowing the like tiers. You know what I mean? But I will have put it on the screen. Acne Studios. I debated whether I should put this in here, because this brand, depending on what you find, doesn't resell for a ton. I do really well actually selling this on the RealReal. If you're new here, I sell on Poshmark, eBay, ThredUp, sometimes, the RealReal, and Amazon, which I don't even know if I should say I sell on Amazon right now because I've really slowed it down. But I actually do pretty well selling this brand on the RealReal. They do take it from me most of the time. Again, check comps. Alexander Wang. Apparently there was some drama with Mr. Wang. I was like looking up comps and stuff, and I don't know. But I have in the past, actually this year, I've sold 3 Alexander Wang purses. 1 on eBay, actually 1 on ThredUp, and 1 on the RealReal. And all of those sales netted me a couple $100 in profit after fees and everything. So I have the most experience selling like the casual wear, like the sweatshirts and then the purses. So not everything is made equal, and you're going to hear that as a running theme in this video. Please take everything with a grain of salt. A lot of these brands I'm going to mention make so much stuff, you guys, and all of it is not a great selling item. Like case in point, Tory Burch. Tory Burch makes so much stuff. Umbrellas. I even saw a Tory Burch like office set. I didn't know they make it with like paper clips and stuff. It's kind of like Kate Spade to me at this point. Tory Burch, I find, I'm not exaggerating, probably almost every time I go thrifting here. And I always look up the comps. If it's a plainer piece, I don't pick it up. A lot of the stuff I find is very old. I do sometimes pick up the purses, not often. Have you noticed a thing, like once the TJ Maxx's and the Ross's and the Marshalls pick up a brand, for at least I've noticed for me, like the resale value just plummets. Like I used to be able to sell a Tory Burch bag and make such great profit. These days, not so much, unless it's a newer piece that has not hit like the discount stores yet. But as far as Tory Burch goes, really like selling the shoes, the wallets, like the accessories, the older stuff. Actually, this is a brand I actually prefer selling their older stuff, and I tend to pick it up at consignment stores and thrift stores. Vince. I debated whether I should put this in because a lot of the Vince stuff, you guys, the sell-through rate is absolute garbage. There could be like, if you look up like Vince skinny jeans, there could be thousands of listings on eBay. What I like to sell from Vince are the nicer fabric items, the silk shirts, the linen shirts, the silk dresses. This is another brand, and I feel like this might be just local to me, so I just like to be honest with you guys. I know some of you don't have access to these brands to find in your thrift store, but this is another brand I find quite a bit in the thrift store here, and I always check comps because, like I said, everything in this brand is not going to sell great. I try to find those nicer fabric content pieces. I should drop a little knowledge for you and say that if you live, I got a DM from someone that was like, I live in the middle of nowhere in Wisconsin, but I want to be a reseller. What should I do? Source online. Source smart. Check out comps. One of my favorite things to do, you guys, is when I'm just like walking on my little walking pad and my standing desk, or if I'm sitting down on my laptop just watching Netflix, I will source online. It takes some practice. It takes knowing your stuff, looking up comps, but there are so many avenues to source online. There are online consignment stores. There's places like ThredUp, The Real. There's even smaller places. I did a short video on it. I'll link it down below, where I talked about selling your items to a Crossroads, which is a chain consignment store. They also have different Crossroads locations have online stores. So I'm mentioning brands. If you never find these, you can source them online. Where there is a will, there is a way. Okay, L'Agence. I butcher that brand's name. I'll put it on the screen. Very trendy brand. Sold at Revolve. Sold at a couple department stores. I don't find it a ton at thrift stores. I do find it quite a bit at consignment stores, and I've actually gotten it quite a bit in pallets. Not a super fast mover for me because I'm assuming if I got it in a Nordstrom pallet, a ton of other people did too. But if I find a unique style, it does sell pretty well. For Love and Lemons, has a special place in my heart. A lot of these brands you're going to hear me say I personally like myself. I own a couple dresses from this brand. I love selling their dresses. I literally found at the bins a For Love and Lemons white dress that had stains. It was probably like, I don't know, like 6, 7 years old. Actually, I do know because I looked it up. I think it was like 6 or 7 years old. I washed it, I stain treated it, and that dress sold for $62, and I got it from the bin, so I paid less than $3 for it. Love selling their dresses. Redone. This is a brand that's kind of becoming saturated, I've noticed. It used to be super coveted. You couldn't find it. It was hard to find, like, on the resale market. These days, I think one of you told me, or someone told me that they've seen it at TJ Maxx or Marshalls, and I'm like, no, it's a very expensive, well, mid-range They do jeans, t-shirts, things like that. I love selling their jeans still. I think I have a pair of their jeans listed on my Poshmark right now for like 300 bucks. Hasn't sold yet, but I just listed it 2 weeks ago. Helmut Lang. Again, one of the brands. Not everything is great. This is a very expensive brand. I should preface this with saying, I know I probably called this like mid-range or something, but when I was thinking of that, I was thinking of what the resale price would be. Like Helmut Lang, some of their items retail for thousands of dollars, but I'm talking about like when I check comps, what they're reselling for, and I would say like a Helmut Lang, I just sold a Helmut Lang dress 2 months ago. It was just a plain black dress. I almost didn't pick it up. And it was like knee length, and it sold for $70, and I got it for 10 bucks from Goodwill. So that's what I was thinking. I know some of you are going to be like, okay, Balmain. You would never know. I used to be fluent in French. Balmain, very expensive brand. Very, very expensive. But I have resold it on almost all my platforms. ThredUp, The RealReal, and eBay. I've never sold it on Poshmark. This is a brand that I got once in liquidation, and I found a couple times at consignment stores. I've never found this brand at a thrift store. If you have, that is amazing. And I did pay up for it. Like the dress that I sold on The RealReal, I think I paid 60 bucks. And it ended up giving me a net profit of $208 or something like that. So very expensive brand, but the resale value is great, especially if you can find it new with tags. Like I was looking on eBay, the comps for new with tags sold, or some of the stuff is close to retail, especially like the intricate blazers and stuff. Very high-end brand, does beautiful dresses, blazers, just high-end fashion. But the stuff that I'm trying to like just keep it real with you and tell you like what I've actually found are like older dresses. I found an older top that I resold for $80. So that's why I included it in this video. I've never been lucky enough to find it brand new. How do we feel about this filming background? I wasn't going to do it because my ring light is reflecting off of my TV, but sometimes you guys, I just want to switch it up. My office is very small, so I try to give you different backgrounds. If you notice in recent videos, I've been taking you to the storage unit, filming there, so we're just gonna have different filming locations. Stella McCartney, another brand, check your comps. I do really well selling Stella McCartney purses, actually. Selling them on eBay and The RealReal. I usually source these online. Where did I source that Stella McCartney? I think I actually, The RealReal had a huge sale. If you guys don't shop or source on The RealReal, some resellers might get mad at me for telling you this, but I feel like most of you know this. It's therealreal.com. They have amazing sales. Sign up, make an account. It's free. They have really good sales, you guys, and you could just sit on your couch and sort by size, by color, and look up comps on different websites. I think the Stella McCartney purse that I sold on The RealReal, I actually sourced on The RealReal. I wiped it a little bit. It had like some gunk inside. I think I did a leather shine. I sent it back, and I made, I think it was like $185 profit. So I do that a lot. I will source from ThredUp and then sell it on ThredUp. I will source from different websites. I sourced a purse from a Buffalo Exchange in like Texas somewhere. They were selling things on Instagram, and then I sent it to The RealReal. There's ways, friends. There are ways to get these brands if you don't have them locally. I promise you there are. Jonathan Simkai, love selling this brand. Don't find it often. Found it a couple times at a consignment shop. Love selling the dresses. We're gonna kind of speed it up because we're only on number 16 and we're going to 50. Alexis, I used to love, this is another brand that I loved selling, and then it went to like TJ Maxx, and it's not at all of them. I've noticed I only tend to find it at like the higher end, you know, the fancy TJ Maxx's, but their dresses can sell for a lot of money, like retail for hundreds of dollars. So I always check comps because the plainer stuff doesn't do that great for me. I actually sold an Alexis dress. Was it in a live sale? I think I sold it in a live sale for like $70, and I had sourced that for $7. If you see the racks behind me, after this video, I'm going to go do a live sale. So make sure to follow me on Poshmark. I go live there. I'm scaling back. I was going live on Poshmark like 3-4 times a week. Work is ramping up with real estate and I want to make more YouTube videos. So I'll probably be going live once or twice a week there, but that's what you see behind me. ALC, look up comps. This brand retails for hundreds. Like jeans could be $200, $300, $400, and then the resale is like 10 bucks. And there are so many listed online. Again, this is when I stay away. They do a lot of workwear, career wear. I try to pick up the more recent pieces. They do a lot of stuff in higher end fabrics, linens, silks, cashmeres. That's what I'll pick up. Kenzo is a brand I don't have that much experience selling. I think in the last like 5 years, I've only sold 2 pieces, but they sold very fast for me. Veronica Beard. This is a brand, now this might be a caveat because this is a brand that is sold occasionally, like a fancy TJ Maxx, but it actually still does pretty well for me. And I feel like this is one of the brands on this list that might be easier to source. You can find Veronica Beard at quite a few places online. I find it a lot here at consignment stores, and they mark it all the way freaking up. Like a blazer, they know. They know. That's one of the things that sucks about sourcing in a major city is a lot of their workers, not all the time, but in consignment shops, they know their brands. They know the trendy brands. This is a very trendy, current brand, Veronica Beard. So they'll mark a Veronica Beard blazer up to $125. But because I checked comps on everything, it was like a lime green, or like a, not a lime green. It was a deeper green color. I knew that it was pretty sought after. So I paid the $120 and I ended up selling that on eBay for close to 400 bucks. Equipment, another brand. I don't pick up a lot of their stuff. I love picking up their silk shirts. They don't move super fast for me on eBay, but when they sell, I get a good profit. And this is another brand, especially the silk, that I find every single time I go to the bins. Now the silk is not always in great condition, but I'm not kidding you. Every single time I go to the bins here in LA, I find an equipment silk shirt. They must have there are certain brands here that I've looked it up and I'm like, oh, that makes sense. They have like a distribution center here, or they have a factory here. Like we're gonna talk about Theory. Theory has a couple of distribution factory things here, so that makes sense. Dolce & Gabbana. Listen, I know this is high-end. I've included this because I find the older stuff, like the really old shoes, the really old, like plain black dresses, and I usually find them at the bins, believe it or not, or the traditional thrift store. Sometimes the thrift stores will mark it up. Like, I have an example, actually. Like I thought of including Prada, but Prada is pretty expensive. Like I found some shoes like this. These are Prada. Can you see that? They are not a newer style. I think when I looked these up, these shoes are like 15, 20 years old. So I find stuff like this at the traditional thrift store that they'll market like 20 or 30 bucks. I looked up comps on these and I should be able to sell these for close to $100. So that's the type of like Dolce & Gabbana that I will pick up that I'm talking about, okay? Not the like stuff that's like currently for $3,000. Like that's not what I'm finding. I'm finding more of like sometimes like vintage pieces that I can sell and make like a 50 to 100, sometimes a couple $100 profit, like if it's a purse or something. Okay, so I know it's high end, but I wanted to include it because of the resale price. Missoni, I sell this a lot on the Real. They don't mark it up, and a lot of the Missoni I find is older, so a lot of the Missoni I sell myself, and I do really good selling that on eBay. Ulla Johnson, another brand I personally love selling their dresses. I find it mostly online and at consignment stores. Hervé Leger. Did I say that right? I'm sure I butchered it. Dresses. They're known for their dresses. Dresses can retail for hundreds of dollars. I've sold their dresses in my live sales for like 70 bucks. I've sold their dresses. The Real takes it. ThredUp takes it. It does better for me on ThredUp. I think the last one I sold and I got a profit of like 220 bucks. And I find this brand a lot. What I usually do is buy it from the Real when it's on sale for like 50, send it to ThredUp and sell it and make a couple $100 profit. There you go. Marchesa. Love selling the dresses. Don't find it often. Found it a couple times this year at a consignment store. It must have been from one person. Beautiful gowns, you guys. Beautiful. I'll put some photos of the gowns. beautiful. Just beautiful dresses. Amina Muaddi. Amina Muaddi. I actually own shoes from this brand and I still can't pronounce it. Very expensive retail price, intricate, sexy stiletto heels. Known for like the heel. I have some. I would go get them. It's too far. Anyways, I'll put it on the screen. Source this brand online and at consignment stores. Holds its value very well. Very, very well. If you've never heard of it, look it up. It's a brand to know. I don't think it's a brand you're going to find like at a thrift store quite often, but maybe at a consignment store or online. So I wanted to throw it in. Jacquemus. Jacquemus. Jacquemus? Guys, this is so sad. And I'm like, I used to speak fluent French. You can't tell. Anyways, love selling this brand. I think in like 6 years, I've probably found it twice. I have found it online, but they mark it up. So I wanted to include it in case you have access to it or you can find it better than I can. Great, great resale value. Kate. I used to say Kite. Kate. Newer to me brand. Have found it once this year. It was a dress and it sold, no joke, within 3 days. So it is a brand to know. Newer to me, it's been around a while, but I just learned about it when I found it. I actually found that dress at a thrift store. These two, I feel like a lot of you know, Reformation, Self-Portrait. Reformation, this might be one brand that I'm like, if you kind of don't want to look up the comps, you kind of don't have to. The girlies love it. Does really well for me on Poshmark. When I say the girlies, I mean like the trendy girlies. They love Reformation. They do dresses, pants, skirts. The dresses tend to do the best for me. Self-Portrait, those are also two brands I love myself, wearing myself. Self-Portrait, very expensive dresses, like hundreds of dollars. And it's a brand I don't want to say I find it a lot, but I have found it quite a bit this year. These are all brands, by the way, I should say that I have sold within the last year and a half. Ghani, I think I'm pronouncing that right. Check comps. Not everything is created equal. They make a lot of stuff. Check comps. Check comps. That one for sure. Check comps. All of these check comps, but the ones that I like keep repeating it, check comps, because everything is not created equal. IRO, similar to like equipment and theory. I check the fabric content. I look up the styles because they make a lot of stuff, and a lot of people apparently find it because there's a lot of listings on eBay. Roland Mouret. This is a newer to me brand. I actually found this at the thrift store. This is a brand, while I was giving them credit, that they must have not known about. Pretty expensive brand, and they only had the dress marked at $5.99. Picked that sucker up, and I ended up selling it for $85. So, wanted to include that. Isabel Marant, another brand. Check comps. They make a lot of different things. I have actually pretty good luck with selling their pants and their dresses. Maybe I should call this the dresses video, because a lot of this stuff I sell, the dresses, the accessories, things like that. Mother. Do you guys remember we used to be able to sell Mother denim for so much money? Check styles, check comps. Very popular, expensive denim brand, but not all styles are created equal. Like some Mother denim is currently selling for like 15, 20 bucks. And some of it's selling for close to its retail value, so it's worth looking up. That's actually a brand that I will occasionally source retail arbitrage, meaning I'll go to like Nordstrom Rack, Marshalls, TJ Maxx, and flip it. Theory, I've talked about this brand so much. This brand is so expensive, you guys. Like if you wanted to go get a work suit from Theory, it could be like close to $1,000. They make career wear, it's so hard to say, casual wear, they make dresses, they make men's clothing. This is a brand, I've told you guys this many times, I find it every single time I go thrifting. I stay away from a lot of the basic career wear. I love selling the men's pieces, and I love selling the pieces that have that silk, the cashmere, the linen, the cotton. Givenchy. Stick with me. I know it's high end. I find a lot of this stuff vintage, like a lot, like 20, 30 years old, and it does really well. And it's not even in that great condition. The shoes, love selling the shoes, the dresses. I've even found, I think it was like a men's t-shirt, not in the best condition, authentic, made in Italy, 100% cotton, sold for like 42 bucks. So that's why I included it. Let's I know you're going to give me some eye rolls at some of these, so let me go through them. Valentino, Carolina Herrera, Chloe, Fendi, Gucci, Prada. Listen, listen, listen. I know they're high end. I'm talking about the older stuff that I can pick up for like $50 or less and make like 100% ROI. So, case in point, I just showed you these Prada shoes. That's an example. Let me show you another example. These are not in the best condition. I actually picked these up online. Who's calling me? I'll call you back. Of course, when I'm filming like the recycling guys here and everything, these are Prada. Picked these up at the Real. I bought these online and I paid 30 bucks for them. Comps are telling me in this condition, I could probably easily sell these for close to 100, maybe a little more. Because we're going into fall. Look at the soles, really good condition. So this is the type of, the reason I included those high-end brands is because I wanted to show you that I'm not talking about like you need to find the new stuff that Prada just released. Go vintage, you guys. Look online and sort by stuff that's been listed the longest and check comps on eBay and Poshmark and see if you can make a profit. So I wanted to include these brands because you can find them, and you can find them online if you can't find them locally, and you can find them in older styles and still make a great profit. You guys know, if you are new here, I've been a part-time reseller for a decade now. For like the first 6 years of reselling, never sold shoes. I didn't want to clean them. Used shoes. I would sell new shoes. I didn't want to clean them. I didn't want to deal with them. And I feel like over the years, especially living where I live and having access to so many of these brands, and I know what a blessing that is, I have missed out on thousands of dollars in profit just passing up. Even I would pass up like older vintage clothing, older vintage handbags from these brands because it's like, oh, it's old. Who's going to want that? Just silly, ignorant me. Listen. Every category is not for everyone, but if you like selling clothing, shoes, and handbags, I'm just letting you know. You can find these brands no matter where you live, okay? But I am being transparent in saying that where I live, I'm lucky that I do find these things while I am outsourcing, but I also wanted to be realistic and say if you can't find it in Wyoming or Iowa or New York or Florida or Alabama, you can still find it online, okay? So it's good to educate yourself and know what to look for. A couple more we're going to run through. Bottega Veneta, Saint Laurent, and Moschino. Moschino. Anyways, I actually find Moschino. I actually find it quite a bit in the thrift stores. I found one, what is their like diffusion line? It's called Moschino Cheap and something and Chic. I don't like the name. It was a skirt. It was yellow with lemons. I paid $4 for it. And it sold for 35 bucks. So I will take that. And it did not sell very fast. So some of these brands, because I know that they will sell for, you know, and I'll make a decent profit, I will pick them up even if the sell-through rate is like 10, 20, 30%. Because that means it could take a while to sell. When I sell a while, it could take a year, it could take 2 years, it could take 3 years. Like, that's not my model. That's not what I choose. That's not what I like hope for. But sometimes I will, if I'm already out and I'm picking stuff up, I will pick this stuff up and just wait for it to sell. That skirt, like I said, took a while to sell. Versace. Just kidding. I know it's not called Versace. This brand I actually got in a palette, which shocked me. I think I showed it to you guys. I'm sure I showed it on like Instagram or something. The dress retailed for $2 grand. I didn't want to deal with it. Some stuff, you guys, is just so expensive that I just want as many eyes on it as possible, and I want it to sell as quickly as possible so I can get money. I didn't want to list it on eBay and Poshmark and deal with a million questions because I've been doing this long enough. When you sell stuff over a certain threshold, like I feel like anything over 500 bucks, people are going to ask you a million questions. They're going to want a million measurements, especially for a clothing item, which is fine. I get it. They work hard for their money. I just don't want to deal with it. So some things I will just sell on the Real or ThredUp. I actually sent this dress to ThredUp and it sold within, they give me, what do they give you now? ThredUp. I don't even want to go into it. It sold within 30 days, basically. I know for higher end stuff, I think they give you 60 days, and I made a lot of money selling that. So love that. But this is also a brand that I have found at consignment and thrift stores So I wanted to include that. Proenza Schuler. This brand's been around for a while. I do pretty good selling actually some of their workwear. My camera shut off because I've been talking so much. All right, let's end with Golden Goose. If you follow me on Instagram, you know that I sell quite a bit of Golden Goose. I find it all the time at consignment stores and they mark it up. These are very, I don't even want to say something politically incorrect. They look like shoes that, if you've seen them, you've seen them. I put them on the screen. I'm not even going to say it. I would never spend $800 on those. That's just me though, but I don't wear sneakers. And I always tell you guys, I ain't gotta like what I sell. I don't like Birkenstocks. I think they're awful and I sell them all day. I don't care. I'm sorry if I offended you. And when I say I don't care, I mean like I don't care if I don't like them. I don't have to like what I sell. I just need to make a profit on what I sell. I don't understand Golden Goose. I don't understand why people would pay that much for sneakers. Nonetheless, I pick them up all the time. I don't care how bad they look. It seems like the worse they look, the more they sell for. I don't understand it. Anyways, very expensive sneaker brand. I sell them all the time. I sell them on the Real, ThredUp, and I sell them on eBay. I've never sold them on Poshmark. And my consignment stores will mark them anywhere from like 50 to 200 bucks if it's a really sought after style. And I have actually paid 200 bucks for them, and I sold those for 700 on, was it the Real or ThredUp? I don't get it, friends, but like I said, we don't have to like what we sell. Maybe you do. I have actually been watching a lot of resellers that are like, if I'm not passionate about what I'm selling, if I don't like it, I can't do it. That's not me. I need to pay my bills. I got 2 kids. I don't need to like what I sell. I don't need to be passionate about it. It's nice. It's an added benefit if it is, but I literally sell things that I don't care about. I have not played golf in years. Well, I shouldn't say that. I do like golf. I sell golf clubs. I've never skied. I sell a lot of skiing equipment. I've never had to use a walker. Sell walkers all the time. I have sold adult diapers that were brand new. I don't care. I don't need adult diapers. If I can make money, I'm going to sell it. That's just the mentality I have here. So hopefully you found this helpful. Let me know if you like the setup of just different backgrounds, just switching it up. I will be coming back to you more and more with more videos. If you are new here, don't forget, if you're still here, do not forget to subscribe. YouTube shows me that something like 50% of you watch my videos all the way to the end and you're not subscribed. So subscribe. I'm posting short form content every day, you guys. Literally like tips. I'm posting what's sold. I'm telling you where you can sell things. I'm showing you what I'm sourcing. So make sure you subscribe so you don't miss out on that. And let me know if you want more brand videos. I think this is my 4th one. So if you're new here, I've done this. I don't even know what the titles are. I'll link them down below and I will see you soon.